David Kirk, thanks for joining us for a coffee with Switzer.
Welcome.
Listen, David, you know, a lot of people know you from footy days. What's it like not playing football? Do you miss it?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, particularly in the professional area, I played in the amateur area, but we were very dedicated, so it was similar. It takes your whole life. You're training a lot, you're travelling a lot. It's fabulous running out on the field, having those hundreds or tens of thousands of people cheering for you, and it's fantastic to play for the All Blacks and to win. But in the end, you've got to move on, and I was quite happy towards the end of my career to move to the next.
Who was your
thing.
5'8"?
Grant Fox, mostly.
Yeah, okay. You didn't have to suffer Mertens at any time, did you?
No, Mertens a bit younger than me. A bit younger than me.
Doesn't show.
Frano Boddick was another one. Do you remember Frano Boddick? He was a really great, talented player. Went off to rugby league in the UK.
When you played in those days for the Kiwis, was it kind of a promise that if you were relatively intelligent, someone would find you a pretty good job?
It was all amateur era, so people were in jobs at the time. Yeah. And so I think the benefit of being an All Black, of course, was any sort of people-facing job, whether you're in a pub or you're a travelling salesman or whatever you might be, people wanted to engage with you. Yeah. So they like doing business with companies that have All Blacks because they can chat to the All Blacks. But you know, nothing replaces education and working your way up through an organisation. Did
being an All Black help you be better at business and the other things you're doing in life?
Yeah, I think it did in a lot of ways. Obviously not sort of specific with regard to business skills, but just temperamentally. I think when you've been in tough circumstances, when you've had to work with teams, when things go wrong, when things go right, you know, you've been there and done that, and you've learned from it, and you have a calmness and a sense of purpose that isn't sort of thrown off too easily.
So the fear of a South African pack or an Australian pack descending upon a person of not what you might call a massive sized human being teaches you courage under fire?
Yeah, it definitely teaches you courage. All rugby, or a lot of sports.
It does, yeah.
A lot of sports where there's physical contact teaches you courage. Yeah. Because you are exposed if you don't have courage. There are always situations where you've got to go for the ball, you've got to make a tackle, when it really matters to your team to do it, and you have to be courageous.
Who was the best player you played against?
Well, if it was in sort of club rugby, it would be Michael Jones or John Kerr and those sort of people in that era. Yeah. When I say the best player, the players who made the most difference in a match, the players that could turn a match one way or another. Hugo Porta, who was the 5'8" for Argentina, was an incredibly dominant player during his era. That'd be some of them.
Okay, you wouldn't think it was political to name one Australian player that worried you?
I played against a lot of good Australian players.
Yeah, but you did.
There was a period in which the Australians... Well, I'll tell you this, Peter. I'm still the last captain to captain the All Blacks to a loss to Australia on Eden Park.
Oh, really?
So I played against a very good Australian team that toured New Zealand. There was, Simon Poitevin and Nick Farr-Jones.
Campo on the wing?
Campo on the wing.
That was a pretty good team.
Andrew Slack as the captain at centre, and Michael Liner. It was just quality.
Was Melrose playing then too?
No, he played a bit before me.
Yeah, okay. I do remember a game when you guys beat us at the SCG, and our centres were Shaw and Slack. I remember walking in and saying, our centres were Shaw Slack that day. That's something that's always stuck with me. Anyway, so that's your rugby period of life. What's your greatest business achievement, do you think?
Well, I think founding my own business. And 7 years ago with Paul Wilson, two of us co-founded a business called Bailador, Bailador Technology Investments, and it's now listed on the ASX with the ticker BTI.
And this is a company that goes looking for potentially great IT companies, and like a private equity firm, you get in there, offer them the support to try and grow them. Bailador benefits from them increasing in their value, and eventually I guess you hope to list them or sell them in the trade sales.
Yeah, that's a great summary, Peter. Yeah. So we're looking for not early stage, because it's hard to pick very early stage, but companies with $5 to $10 million worth of revenue, growing very fast, usually software as a services businesses or businesses with a sort of marketplace business model, which are great business models, businesses with big global markets and opportunities to grow into, and we invest in a minority position in these companies, go on the board and work really closely with them. We've got 10 of those companies now in our portfolio, and they're pretty big. The total revenue from the portfolio is over $200 million, so close to 21 million average per company. And last year that portfolio grew its revenue at 30%. Right. So it's a really high quality, fast growing portfolio.
are they mainly B2B or you got some B2C?
Mainly B2B, almost all B2B, which is one of the reasons why people don't know
Yeah.
many companies. You don't hear about them
Yeah.
because they're creating software as a service usually for one business to help one business sell to another business.
Yeah. It seems to me that B2C seem like let's face it, Amazon, Netflix, they're all B2C
Yeah.
businesses, but Atlassian's not, and Atlassian's been a fantastic set. That's B2B.
Yep.
Does B2B give you a degree of solidity that they've got contracts
Yeah.
when you get involved in them, and then you think, well, if they can start adding the same sort of businesses or other businesses that can use that service, well, then it's a reliable one, but not a spectacular one?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Again, that's a good summary. B2B, if you are providing the right service and you're the first up and you're the best executor, then you can get very big, but it's much more reliable and much more scalable often, and much more you're able to predict where the business is going to go in a certain period of time. Now that's a software as a service model. Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of customers on one software as a service platform paying a monthly subscription fee. So for us, that's a great business model. The problem with B2C is for all the big winners, for the Facebooks and the Googles and the Amazons, there's all the losers. Everyone that tried to compete with those big businesses, apart from them, has failed. But that's not the case in B2C.
Your biggest in your stable, what's the biggest company?
There's a business called SiteMinder.
Yeah, and tell us about that.
Well, SiteMinder provides services to hotels to help hotels distribute their room availability on the internet.
Yeah, in the age of Trivago and hotels,
exactly.
hotels need to...
Over 50% of hotel rooms are now booked just by people going online. Yeah. And they normally go to Booking.com or Trivago or TripAdvisor or Expedia or somewhere like that. And all of the rooms you can see on those websites have been loaded up or have been accessed by those online travel agents logging in to SiteMinder. Because SiteMinder has already gone to all the hotels and got the hotels to load their rooms into this warehouse. So SiteMinder has over 34,000 hotels, all with their room inventory in their warehouse, and all of that room inventory is made available to all these online travel agents. So it's a perfect middleman, if you like, between a hotel and a consumer to help them find the right room.
This might be a weird question, but you wouldn't be surprised that I would ask you a weird question. What's the sexiest business in this? Like, that sounds pretty sexy.
The B2B businesses aren't.
No, that's what I mean. But is there one that's...
I think the translation business is pretty sexy.
Okay, tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a language translation business out of New Zealand, which combines...
Well, you need a translation business coming out of New Zealand, don't you? But
yeah, it was founded in Auckland, and that's now very global. It's got about 70-80% of its revenue coming from global markets.
Yep.
And it combines machine learning, so AI, that's pretty sexy.
Yep. Okay.
To do the first translation with crowdsourced human translators. So what they do is they have a workflow management platform in the cloud. So I just put my material onto the platform to get it translated. Yep. They quickly do a machine translation and it comes back, which is pretty close, but not perfect. And then it depends on what the languages are, but they go out to their crowdsourced translators and they say, we've got this translation, it's so many words, 1,000 words. We need to be translated from English into Chinese or Lithuanian or some obscure African language. There's some 80 languages, 80 source languages, 80 target languages. Yeah. So they cover a lot. And then you find 2 or 3 people who pitch for the work.
Okay. They bid for it?
Yeah, they bid for it, and they pick the best one, and people that have been rated in the past over their speed, efficiency and accuracy. And then they get the job, and then it's all turned around very quickly and back to the person.
Could you imagine this 10 years ago?
Yeah, you couldn't imagine.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, the stuff that's going on.
And they're doing incredibly well, actually. They're now listed. We listed them last year, so that's our first exit from the fund.
Okay.
So the fund now has been listed for 4 years, 10 companies, and we're now really moving into the phase where we're going to be regularly exiting. Yeah. And it's a good chance to get involved because I think we've built the fund now.
What's the ticker code?
BTI.
BTI, okay. Fairfax Media Days, I know you always throw in the fact that Trade Me was a big achievement.
Home run.
Yeah, home run. Tell us about Trade Me. I remember when you did it.
Yeah, everyone thought I was a noggin, didn't they?
Well, we thought you were being very pro-Kiwi, but it's worked out well, hasn't it?
Bold, yeah. No, Trade Me, for people that are not so familiar with it, because it's an only Kiwi company, combines all of the classified advertising in jobs, homes and cars with an online marketplace platform such as eBay. So all of those are combined together. And back in 2006, when I was chief executive of Fairfax, we bought the business for 650 million Aussie.
Yeah. There were question marks about that, was at the time?
A lot of question marks. I got a lot of grief from a lot of shareholders, actually.
Yeah.
They thought that I was wasting their money and throwing it away. But now the business did very well for Fairfax. They then listed it and asked me to come back as the chairman, so that was about 7 years ago. Yeah. And just in a month from now, in May the 2nd or 4th or something like that, Apex Partners, which is a big buyout fund from the UK and the United States, they're going to pay 2.7 billion Kiwi to take the business private.
Proving that you are a genius, David.
Proving that I got that one right. That's all.
Okay, one last. Well, I should ask you about Israel Folau. Great player, clearly made a mistake in social media, which a lot of people can make. Is it being handled the proper way, do you think?
I think so, largely. I'm obviously not close to all the detail and everything, but I think that there will need to be a process. And Israel has a contract, he has an employer, all of us. Well, maybe not you, because you work for yourself. I mostly work for myself. I'm the chairman of a number of publicly listed companies. I have a contract of employment with the company, and you have to live up to your contract. You have to do what your contract requires you to do.
I got a contract with my wife as a CEO, and no worries. It's a tough contract. It's a tough contract, and the clauses are unbelievable. But I guess this is like a new age problem, isn't it? Because once upon a time, rugby players did things probably a lot worse than Folau, in sort of physical abuse and stuff like that. But it's a world where you can't be offensive and you can't be discriminatory, and he in a sense, he's been influenced by his religion, which is a really old-fashioned religion. Yeah. It's an unbelievable issue, even for administrators of a sport to deal with.
It's a real tragedy. I mean, I find it really difficult because I'm a huge supporter of free speech. You can't be the chief executive of a media company and not support free speech, and just generally. Yeah. I think people have the right to do and say and be who they want to be. Yeah. And for other people to stop them being that is just not acceptable. So great support of free speech, but then there's Israel saying that people can't be who they are. And let's not make no bones about it. People who are gay are gay. Yeah. That's part of their identity. It's part of who they are. They shouldn't be pilloried for it. You can't possibly criticise people publicly. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah. But as I say, it's like it's just not an intelligent thing to do as well. And it's just so hard to deal with. But I guess it's a leadership thing for the ARU, and I don't think anyone at the ARU ever thought they'd have to deal with something like this.
No, and they'll be just sick in the guts that they have to do it, because he's got such a great player, wonderful for the Waratahs, wonderful for the Wallabies, sort of player that kids idolise.
He should be an ornament to the game, as the old saying goes.
He should be. Yeah. But the ARU has to work their way through their employment arrangements with them, and it doesn't look like it's going to end well. No,
and I think they should bar all sportsmen from having a Twitter account, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
David Kirk, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you.